Stronger together is a common saying, often used to explain strength in a collective. Indeed, there is always a sense of social safety for people who do things in common. This collective power also creates a sense of security where everyone feels responsible for the well-being of others. That is the kind of environment many Africans were raised, particularly the elderly today. Either in culture, traditions, as well as economic well-being, the interest of the clan superseded that of individuals, and the same was reciprocated with unwritten duty of care to one another. On this edition of Dateline 360, we attempt an understanding of how communal living can enhance personal and collective security. I am Omotola Omojola. Thanks for joining us. Communities are made up of families, and as we know, a family is the smallest unit of society, and it is where values are instilled in individuals, and such values chart their life course. We begin this edition by examining communal parenting. Comparing the past with contemporary times, Ijoma Ugweke reports on how communal family system creates safe, secure, and harmonious societies.
Back in the ancient days, a child is said to belong to two persons, but that same child is raised communally. This, by extension, goes to building of houses, farming, and other communal endeavors. 62 years old Mrs. Mercy Nwokoma and 58 years old Alere Chichukwu shared their experiences of the good old communal days in Ozoba community in Rivers State, which bred loyalty, security, bonding, love, respect, and peaceful coexistence.
Those old days, they were living happily. They moved together. They discuss when they go to farm. When they come back, they gather in the evening. Before they will sleep, they will discuss, they will laugh. Or community contribute money to send somebody abroad. Before, they don't even care whether it's their own. They said it is the community. It is the name of the community that they want.
If you marry somebody from Chuba, when you are digging a yam, your in-law will come. Your in-law will help you and dig yam free of charge. And before, when you are working your farm, by clearing the bush first, your in-law will still come, only for you to cook. You are building a house, foundation. Your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your people will jubilate with you.
The case seemed to be different now, going by their opinions, as lack of trust and competition among parents have resulted to negligence of communal parenting, with children now exposed to the new media and modernization.
Say now I'm going to lock up children and never make them watch that, you're denying them a major tool in their generation. But if you are going to let them use those tools or watch the television, you have to set up parental controls.
Professor Steve Wardo, an expert in sociology, acknowledges that many societal values, such as love for one's community, state, and country, respect for the elders, and bonding between families, amongst others, are fast diminishing as people are no longer responsible for one another.
How can we go back to traditional societal values, those ones that help to promote unity, promote tolerance, promote right behavior, control crime, ensure effective parenting? Because parenting was collective, yes, and it worked. The people who punished me were people from my village, my kinsmen. They punished me because I plucked school orange. So that was kind of, people paid and watched over other people's children. Children belong to the community. But today, you can't even flog a child. You can't correct a child. Even so, parents have joined in, destroying collective parenting.
When I was in primary school in those days, about 20-something years back, or 30 years, they will hold us. If you come to learn, the senior student will hold you, carry you in the back and tie your leg. The teacher will be flogging you. At the end, you will learn something from it. But now it doesn't happen again. Before I even do it, children will carry stone to stone the teacher.
There are some norms that were imbibed in children, and those norms work. For example, a parent saying don't sit on a mortar, it won't do anything. Now that we have grown, we've known. But then you see it that, wow, if I sit on a mortar, is a big taboo. But what they are telling you in essence is just hygiene. They just want to be hygienic, knowing fully well that that thing is used for food.
While analyzing the belief that persons raised in communal societies have better sense of responsibilities than those raised in other environments, they called for proper study of lives of people, especially those living in slums, as immorality, insecurity, and other vices abound in such environments. It has become necessary that parents up their game to revive the fast-eroding societal values to maintain harmonious existence. From Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke for Dateline 360.
As we integrate as a people, we should prioritize good values, irrespective of tribe or religion, share them and find common grounds to raise responsible children. It is, however, necessary that we first learn to communicate. Yes, communication. How much of that do we do lately as a people? With busy schedules, even close-knit families are not spared the demands of civilization. With modernization and technology transfer from the Western world, values of communal living are collapsing and advancing individualism. Tessio Mary examines the role of this in national security.
This is what communal living in Africa portrays, where everyone knows each other and bonding.
Even the communal pounding is fun. You can see the excitement on their faces as they pound and they sing songs that is no longer painable due to technology.
In fact, such a lifestyle also encourages residents to eat, farm, and engage in social activities together, as portrayed here in Kuje Area Council.
You sit them together around, you eat together. There's baraka inside it. But now, if you have two wives, the other woman will take her children and eat separately. This one will take her children and eat separately. There is no baraka inside it. Before, if you see an old woman coming from the farm, you don't even know him at all. You run and follow him, carry his load on your head to his house. Now, if it is your uncle, you see him coming with load there, you run away.
Such scenarios have, however, been exchanged for high fences, mansions, and big gates, with modernization keeping families enclosed. Although modernization entails economic development, political and cultural change, observers say its effect is gradually eroding communal living as one hardly knows his next door neighbor.
Modernization has caught up with us, and we are no longer, we have thrown away the spirit of fraternity, the spirit of brotherhood, the spirit of unity, oneness, and so it has become difficult for us to know the stranger, since we don't even know who the next door neighbor is.
We see people that are not our relatives, are not anyway connected to us, but they follow our parents home, they follow them to the farm to also bring in this farm produce, thereby bringing about unity and togetherness. And that way, when there's something happening with another person in that community, you are informed because the closeness, you will just know. As such, even when the insecurity wants to come into the town, you don't even know, because the visitor who came in, you are not even aware who is she, who is he, and thereby in the night he does harm and go away.
If I don't know a neighbor, then I try to look around and see who are his visitors. Now, if they're the kind of persons that are approachable through your neighbor's visitors, you'd now be able to reach out to your neighbors.
In addition to building walls of separation among neighbors, where help is miles away in the event of emergencies or security threats, modernization through technological devices turns even family and friends to strangers as they are walls apart.
The child is engrossed with his or her phone, and sometimes you won't see them watching television, and you are talking to them, they don't seem to hear what you are saying. And apart from that, too, you see, in those days, people used to maybe visit friends, sit outside in communities to discuss issues. But these days, everyone is engrossed in his own technology advancement in the area of...
This is a typical urban family setting in Abuja. Everyone here is engrossed in his or her phones and other devices, where the family bond is almost absent. Security experts say while modernization promotes the use of technology to make life easier, if not properly checked, can promote individualism.
In the case of distress call, even the community can provide information to the security with a model with the technology. We can also use it in terms of sharing information among the unit commanders, the brigades. At the same time, at one time, using technology, we can send information to the entire divisional police offices that we have in 773 local governments.
There's nothing wrong having 2 or 3 commissioners of police in a state. Commissioner in charge of communities, commissioner in charge of marine police, commissioner in charge of forest police. We need to do this. We need to think beyond the box.
The ripple effect of these is silence, complacency, and nonchalant attitude of people towards one another and affairs of the state.
Stakeholders have continued to advocate that in spite of modernization and advancement in technology, there is the need for physical interaction within one's environment. Now, do you know who your neighbor is? For Dateline 360, Tessie Omeri reporting.
Thanks, Desi, for your insights. We should all endeavor to know our neighbors. It is among the first steps in ensuring personal safety. Multi-ethnic and multicultural is Plateau State, and the state dominated news headlines recently for the wrong reasons. Perhaps what may be missing in some part of the state is what Caleb Gochin brings us in our next package. He tells the story of brotherliness in a settlement that exemplifies the true Nigerian spirit.
Plateau State for some time has been overwhelmed by communal clashes with citizens accusing each other, mostly on religious lines. In many cases, farmers and herders have clashed, leaving behind an unquantifiable level of destruction. In all this, meetings have been held, resolutions signed, albeit with little or nothing achieved. For a multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multi-religious nation like Nigeria, shouldn't this diversity be harnessed for positive development rather than division?
We refuse to accept one another. That is it. But if we accept one another, there is going to be peace. Sometimes there is an adage in Hausa that somebody will say, you are just looking at somebody and you feel which lab did you test that genie that you think it has not is not compatible with the other?
Everything is based on this. Above all, God has given us the power to make decisions. So if once the young ones make that decision, that they should just stay away from anything that will bring trouble, I believe that there will be peace.
Areas have been balkanized, boundaries set with constant apprehension when disagreements arise. But one community that has surmounted all the odds is the Adebayo area in the heart of Jos.
Although in the mosque, different tribes worship here in the mosque, but in the church, it is only Yoruba that worships there, and we live peacefully with each other. So, and in the area, we are just like a family. This is where they call peace in Plateau.
All hope, our speakers say, is not lost.
Some times ago, Jos North, Jos South is always a problem area, but now clearly you can see Jos North is peaceful because of periodical meetings. Places like Nasarawa, places like maybe Angwanrogo, Jos Central Town, places like Tudunwada, is because of this sort of periodical meetings that brought place into that area. And that is why even like places like Rikos, you can see, because people meet at this most of the time, especially weekends, to know each other, to rub minds together between Muslim and Christian. The Igbo, the Hausa, the Yoruba, the Indigen meet together. And by the time you meet together and discuss together frequently, it's very difficult to say you want to start fighting your neighbor.
If you have any issue with your neighbor that you cannot resolve at that level, you meet the neighborhood watch members that we have sent into the communities because they are drawn from various communities, open up discussions. I think if you discuss at that level, it's better than involving security agencies and other law enforcement agencies, if you will understand yourselves.
As we sign off on this report, we think Nigerians can learn from this community, where for more than 100 years, the church and mosque have coexisted side by side, with the adherents living peacefully without any challenge. For Dateline 360, Caleb Gochin.
Now, there can be understanding without communication. That package also underscores the importance of good neighborliness for security. Thanks, Caleb, for bringing out the bright side of what is imagined as not so good. Like Jos, Kaduna is cosmopolitan and home to diverse communities, thriving harmoniously in the rich ethnic and religious diversity. In our next piece, Mohammed Umar Ajingi tells another story of a place where diversity strengthens bonds of unity.
This is one of the community embracing genuine peace in Kaduna, where differences are celebrated.
The people in Dankota work in the railways, and some work in textile. So from there, we and our children, especially we in the railway, see a child of Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, Hausa, and the other tribes. They know they are right from grassroots. So it's very hard for them to fight themselves.
The history of the community will not be complete without mentioning the Nigerian Railway Corporation. In the 1980s, this place used to be a beehive of economic activities. It is called Kaduna Junction, where most of the trains from different parts of Nigeria stop by here to upload their goods. A retired army personnel, Hassan Yalla from Mangu in Plateau State, tells me what captured his attention to stay in this community, down quarter.
I was recruited into Nigerian Army in 1984. When we do peacekeeping, I always observe this place is very, very, very peaceful. Because when we come soldiers, we see these people playing football in the field. We don't care to touch them. We don't care to talk to them because there was no conflict here. So when I retire, I say, let me go and find house. So
this is the football field serving as a unifying factor here in Damkota, where the youth of this community gathered with just a single aim of playing football. The team spirit displayed during the football, irrespective of the differences in tribe or religion, are what the people of Damkota have been exhibiting for quite a long time. It is one of the community in Kaduna State that had never in history recorded any religious or ethnic crisis.
We've been living in peace and unity, both Muslim, even currently as you can see from the feed, we have different tribes from different ethnic groups, different religion. We all come together in unity and we do things together. There's never been crisis here.
The story of Damkota shows that embracing diversity allows individuals to appreciate their differences, leading to a more inclusive and harmonious coexistence. In Kaduna, Muhammad Umar Ajingi for Dateline 360.
As a philosophy, community policing is designed to reduce crime and disorder within societies by fostering collaborations that build trust and mutual respect between police officers and members of host communities. Francis Fom in this report looks at the concept of community policing and its effectiveness in combating crime within the Nigerian society.
As a law enforcement concept, community policing allows the continuous operation of officers in the same area in order to create stronger bonds with citizens living and working in that area. Born out of the present need to upscale conventional policing and further reduce criminality, community policing came as an innovation to support unconventional policing like vigilante groups to produce safer communities. Historically, the origins of community policing can be traced to ancient Nigeria, rooted in traditions. At that time, policing of various communities was carried out by members of age grades and traditional police groups with institutionalized ways, values, and norms, which attracted sanctions where there were violations. With the resurgence of crime in some parts of the country in recent times, some state governments and socio-political groups like the Afenifere and the Ohaneze Ndigbo clamored for community policing to tackle peculiar security challenges in their localities. Prior to the 2023 general elections, the groups also called for constitutional review to allow devolution of powers and decentralized policing system. In 2020, 6 states in the Southwest Geopolitical Zone jointly formed a regional security operation codenamed Operation Amotekun, which has since been backed by law. Also, in 2021, 5 Southeast state governments formed Ebubeagu, and the regional security outfit has since been operationalized, just as the Benue state government in 2022 launched the Benue Guards.
I think the local police is very important at this moment to be able to gather intelligence.
And they're trying to ensure that they support the security of their own communities by themselves. That is the entire essence of the community policing policy. It is intended to give people the opportunity to partake in their own security apparatus, to partake in maintaining peace, in maintaining their own security.
However, lack of arms license for the men of these state-owned security outfits have been said to hamper their effectiveness, even as calls grow for the police to let them bear assault rifles like AK-47. With community policing, men and officers of the police are expected to see themselves as part of the community, and in similar manner, community members are also expected to see themselves as part of the police, which in turn result in crime reduction within neighborhoods. This mutual trust is expected to spread to even ungoverned areas, which have been noted as fertile grounds for recruitment and training of criminals, and bring them under local and state authorities for overall security of the nation. Pertinent to this discussion, however, is acknowledging that curbing disorder, fighting crime, and increasing feelings of personal safety require commitment from both the police and the host community. For Dateline 360, Francis Fom.
Don't forget that we all are pieces in Nigeria's security puzzle and must find our positions, fit in properly to produce a safe and secure environment where we all can continue to proudly call home. Be your brother's keeper. See something, say something, and do all you can to ensure that both you and your community stay on the right side of the law. I am Omotola Omojala. May God bless Nigeria.